Hey guys, this is Poohead189, and today I wanted to do a brief video talking about the Namek saga and Vegeta in particular. Now to start off, I want to say the reason why I'm talking about this is because, after I made the response video about is Tien a fraud, I was thinking how did other DB tubers, I was going to say big DB tubers, but I'm not that big, but how did other big DB tubers get into not only Dragon Ball, but how did they get into learning about Dragon Ball? Because while obviously, yes, reading it and watching it is the way to learn, a lot of the times people go by hearsay or social media or stuff like that. I'm not saying Karthu has. I'm just saying a lot of the times that people talk about it comes from things that they've heard rather than things that they have read, or rather from good sources. And I'm wondering if Dragon Ball tubers tend to... I don't know how they tend to learn. And I felt kind of lucky that I learned Dragon Ball... Well, okay, I'm not going to get into that because that's for a whole nother video. But the point is that a major part of me learning about it was from arguing with my friends and talking about it on forums and workshopping it. And there's something that I recalled that I learned that was pretty cool back in the day. Maybe it was about 10 years ago now, I think. It was on one of those forums that I used to debate on. But I remember me and Clearin were in a forum and we were talking about Vegeta in the Namek saga. Now, for some reason, people don't talk about the Namek saga that often, which is very weird because it's chock full of things you can talk about. And usually on this channel, I haven't done it too much other than a few videos, because I try to talk about things that people have, misconceptions over. And since people don't talk about Namek often, there's not a lot of misconceptions to really talk about. But there is something that I know people tend not to think about. And that is this. When Goku arrives on the battlefield, he brings Senzu beans, and this is right after Raccoon just got done beating up Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan. And Goku gives these Senzu beans to all three of them, so Vegeta included, right? Vegeta then gets a Zenkai, or a Saiyan power boost. This Zenkai is the only one he gets until Krillin maims him during the fight, the Frieza fight later on, after Vegeta tells him to, so Dende can heal him so he can fight Frieza. So that means that way back fighting the Ginyu Force, Vegeta's power level after he gets that Senzu Bean should be the same power level he has when he actually manages to fight First Form Frieza, not evenly, but enough to where he's not immediately overtaken. So that means when Goku arrives, Goku's full power without a Kaioken is 90,000. And Ginyu's full power is 120,000. And Jace is around 40,000, we think. But Vegeta's sitting there with all of them, thinking that Goku is a Super Saiyan, when really his power should be maybe 4 times that of Goku's at full strength. And there's no reason generally that people think about, why wouldn't Vegeta, especially when Vegeta and Goku and Captain Ginyu and Jace all square off. And this is when Vegeta kind of skips town and leaves and tricks Goku. I think this was in chapter 89 of the manga, and I think 68 of the anime, when they're all squaring off, like Goku standing in front of Vegeta, and Ginyu and Jace are facing them, and it looks like it's going to be a 2v2 until Vegeta just skips town and leaves. What would be the reason that Vegeta does not kill all 3 of them? Not even just helping Goku and just kill Ginyu and Jace, but why does he not kill Goku too? And why later, even though he is better than Jace, how does Jace get those hits on Vegeta? And how come Vegeta isn't completely dominating him when he can at least survive a tussle with First Form Frieza? How is this possible? And this is something that people, like I said, people never really talk about it, and it's a very good question. Because really, Vegeta should have a power level that is in the hundreds of thousands at least. Not quite 530,000 that First Form Frieza is, but pretty close to it. So what's the deal here? And I remember talking about this with my friend Clearin and a few other guys on the forum back in the day. And we were discussing it, and I can't remember if I was the one that came up with this. I don't recall exactly. But I do remember someone else saying, like, confirming the post that was giving this theory, which has to be correct. There's no other way it can't be correct. And that is that Vegeta has been on Namek for about 5 days. And in that time, he has not slept at all. And he has not rested. He has been constantly going after the Dragon Balls. He has constantly been fighting. He's been flying. He's not slept a wink that we've seen. And then Vegeta gets a Senzu Bean and he gets the Zenkai. But the Zenkai doesn't take full effect yet, because Vegeta is exhausted. And so really, even though the full Zenkai should be close to, 400,000, he's maybe almost at a tenth of that strength. Maybe he's 50,000 at that point. But the Zenkai is buffering currently. Currently, Vegeta is still extremely impressed with Goku, whose max power without Kaioken is 90,000. Again, Goku's Kaioken technique makes him go to 180,000, and he can go much higher than that too if he wanted to. But right now his Zenkai is buffering, and that is because he has had no sleep. And that is why he still, while he while he is clearly better than Jace after his Zenkai, he doesn't completely immediately dominate Jace. But then he takes that nap. And that nap is when Gohan and Krillin go to summon Porunga, and this is when Goku's in the healing chamber, because he needs to heal because he switched bodies with Ginyu, and then they beat up Goku's body because Ginyu couldn't use Goku's full abilities because Ginyu's a mutant and Goku's not. Various things like that. But then Vegeta takes that nap, and just like working out regularly, you need really good sleep to get gains, and that is what happened. Vegeta takes his nap, and then he wakes up, and the power level that's maybe 45,000 to 50,000 shoots up to where now he can hold off First Form Frieza. And so all of this, the reason why that Zenkai did not initially have him just dominate everyone, even though he really should have, is because he was just tired as hell. He has not slept a wink in 5 days. The Namek saga is 6 days long, pretty much. It's not like, it's approximately 6 days. Some people can say it's like a few hours long or a few hours shorter, but like, I would say it's slightly over 6 days. But yeah, that is the reason for that. And I thought that was something that I haven't mentioned on the channel before, and it's something that people don't often think about. But it's a really neat discovery me and my friends and a few other forum guys made back on the day, and I thought I should maybe voice it here, and it's just an interesting tidbit that I thought you guys would like to realize. So while it seems that Toriyama made a blunder, he also kind of saved himself with that nap, which is pretty funny. So it let him use the device of having Vegeta keep them alive for a little bit longer so Piccolo and then Goku can arrive. But also why Vegeta wasn't someone that would just dominate everyone and kill everybody until First Form Frieza shows up. Okay, I think that's everything I have to say today about it, but I think that's just something interesting that people don't have to talk about. I also want to say that the beginning clip, that's my favorite Falconer track, I think, ever. And I want to talk to my friend Darnell soon about Falconer. So yeah, but I just wanted to, give a little tidbit and talk about this. Okay, guys, hope you have a great one, and I will see y'all next time. All right, bye-bye.